Dr. Nicholas Hartshorn's death is officially labelled a base-jumping incident. But I can't help but think that if he'd had the chance to perform his autopsy, he might have ruled it a textbook case of suicide.
Makes it a classic textbook example of suicide.
When dissecting the nature of his demise, it's crucial to understand the fundamental mechanics of base jumping. It's a sport of precision, risk, and most critical, you must without exception adhere to the very important 2 steps in base jumping. No, I mean literally, jumping off a cliff only requires 2 steps. If you can't do that, well, maybe it's not the sport for you. It was around this point where things went downhill for Dr. Nick, both literally and figuratively. Before Hartshorn took his trip, he was interviewed by Canadian journalist Ian Halperin, who has been following the Cobain case from the get-go. And according to Mr. Halperin, if Dr. Nicholas Hartshorn is an angel now, he was anything but when he was stumbling around here on Earth. Halperin recounts his interview with Dr. Hartshorn, or as his friends fondly called him, Dr. Death. No, really, I'm not shitting you, and this nickname wasn't just a nod to his chosen profession. It also stemmed from his unsettling habit of keeping souvenirs from his clients. His favorites? The spoons belonging to victims who died of heroin overdoses. Yeah, I shit you not, like a serial killer does. This little tidbit of information about Dr. D raises an interesting question about what happened to the so-called drug kit found next to Kurt Cobain's body. Has anyone ever seen evidence tags for the cigar box or any of the other items shown in the scene photos, but mysteriously absent from the Seattle PD's inventory? But anyway, back to Halperin's interview with Dr. Death. The following excerpt comes from a news article that you can Google because I forgot where exactly I found it. Ahem. Here's the rewritten text. Halperin asserts that Dr. Hartshorn was an avid Nirvana and Courtney Love fan and lacked the requisite toxicology expertise. In an exclusive interview with the US Sun, Halperin revealed that the medical examiner admitted during a 1996 interview that he should have recused himself from Kurt Cobain's autopsy. I was the first person to interview the coroner. He confessed to me that he wasn't the right person for the job. I visited his office in Seattle, and he told me, "You're Canadian. I trust you. I'll give you the first interview." When I entered his office, there were Nirvana and Courtney Love posters everywhere. He admitted to me that he had a personal relationship with Courtney and that it was a conflict of interest. He acknowledged that he should have stepped aside and recommended another examiner for the autopsy. Halperin further claims that Dr. Hartshorn hinted at having been romantically involved with Courtney Love. He implied to me that there was more to their relationship than friendship, Halperin said. His behavior and revelations made me think he was reckless. I still can't believe he was allowed to conduct such a critical autopsy. Additionally, he lacked expertise in toxicology. I consulted 3 pathologists who confirmed he didn't have the necessary knowledge. Halperin also claims Dr. Hartshorn admitted he might have reached a different conclusion had he not been pressured by Seattle police. While he never outright suggested foul play, he expressed doubt about his findings, Halperin said. I think those decisions haunted him for the rest of his life. The leaked autopsy report was signed by Dr. Hartshorn, the King County Assistant Medical Examiner, and Dr. Donald Ray, the Chief Medical Examiner at the time. Toxicology results were co-signed by an analyst and the state toxicologist. Halperin maintains hope for justice, drawing parallels to cases like Tupac Shakur's.
I believe I can fly.